So, my dear friends, I'll be giving you some tips regarding presenting Pakistan in any opportunity, if that is examination hall or you're delivering some lecture or anybody asks you what about Pakistan. So we start from the history and we understand that Pakistan is the culmination of Muslim rule in Indian subcontinent. When Muslims they came to India from Central Asia or from other countries, so they established their rule, and when British Empire established its rule in subcontinent and they introduced the idea of democracy, so Muslims in subcontinent felt that we need kind of specific representation politically and constitutionally. That is the raison d'etre. That is the reason that the state of Pakistan came into being. Now, that was ideology, that was the history, and at that time it was required. We had, you have to focus on those intellectual personalities like Shah Waliullah, Mujaddid Al-Afsani, and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, as well as Dr. Iqbal and Qaid-e-Azam. Their contribution, that is really important. Now, for example, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, his approach that was quite revolutionary. He was more an educationist than politician, because he knew that once Muslims they are strong in educational field, so automatically they can participate in political or democratic activities. Now you are not educated. For example, democracy is still a problem in Pakistan. So if we are not an educated nation, so how democracy that will reach its culmination? Because for any democracy, society must be properly educated. That's why in those countries in which there is dictatorship, so education is not that much developed. Both education and democracy are concomitant with each other. Concomitant. They are indispensable for each other. So he was a rationalist. He was a great thinker. That's why he provided educational institutions, journalism, and other approaches. So this was, a progress. Then Iqbal came, and then he provided a kind of philosophy, and he provided ideology, and that was a deep thought. And then Qaid-e-Azam, because of his personality and his constitutional development, because he provided another line, and he is the only leader in the world that he gave birth to a new country without bloodshed, without a single bullet. He did not go for a single day to jail, but still we had a country. So, this was the culmination from religious moments, then towards Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, and then Iqbal, and then Qaid-e-Azam. So this is why nations are born. So you have to, have a complete grasp on this whole historic development. Then you come, once the country comes into being, so we have a lot of problems initially. So you must have full grasp on discussing those problems, because the western part of India was not that much developed, like Delhi and other parts of India. All the economic and financial resources, as well as defense technology, whatever technology was at that time, that was left in India, today's India, while Pakistan was a nascent state without resources. So in spite of those, scarce resources, the state of Pakistan, it was developing, and it is 70 years old. So this is a new state. It is just 70 years. So we cannot have a comparison with those countries which are on the face of earth for a long time, hundreds of years. Constitutional development, this was 1956 and 62 and 73. You must have a complete grasp on the constitutional development, because up to 1956 we could not make our own constitution, because of the demise, the sad demise of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Then there was a lot of wranglings and a lot of political disputes, and India would say that we don't change our trousers that frequently as Pakistan changes its prime ministers. In the beginning, we had 8, 9 prime ministers, and then dictatorship of Ayub Khan, and then the debacle of Dhaka, 1971, and again, Bhutto, and then his hanging over, and then Quaid-e-Azam, Ziaul Haq for 11 years, and then the war in Afghanistan. 1979 is a crucial year in the history of Pakistan because of Ziaul Haq regime and Afghanistan, the invasion of Soviet Union on Afghanistan. Before 1971, Pakistan was a modern progressive state, and there was no problem of terrorism, extremism, fanaticism, whatever evils that we have today. We did not know. People would come to Pakistan from different parts of the world for tourism, and Pakistan was a progressive democratic society. So after 1979, the things changed totally. And then we had a lot of political developments, and those skirmishes between the presidents and prime ministers, that the president would oust, expel the elected prime minister. And then we had also the era of judicial activism, which is also going on now. So this, you must have a complete grasp on this constitutional political development of Pakistan. At the same time, you must understand that Pakistan, a country of 220 million people, we have a lot of human resources. But at the same time, these human resources, they need education, they need food. Our agriculture has a lot of problems. We have water logging, we have like soil erosion, we have wind erosion. Our per acre yield, that is quite low. We have to go for innovative agriculture, like new ways of irrigation. Even this canal irrigation, which is a big asset for us, it is bringing a lot of problems. Now the people, they don't spend this much water on irrigation. So we must modernize, mechanization, technology. New technology must be introduced in our agriculture center. We must industrialize our society, that we should have like diversification of our exports markets and export products. And we have to compete, with other countries like China, India, Indonesia. These are, manufacturing countries now. They have started. Vietnam. They are, even Bangladesh is now doing better than us in economic field. So we have to focus more on education. Yeah, Asia Mukhtar. So there are, we have to have a complete focus on this constitutional, economic, socio-economic problems of Pakistan. Then you come to the future of Pakistan. So the terrorism, that is one of the biggest challenge. And now international community, United States, they are thinking that Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism. So we must chalk out pragmatic strategy, and we must tell the world that if it is their misconception, so we must clarify that misconception. And if we are sure that yes, there are some problems lying with us, so we must eradicate and exterminate all those problems. Poverty alleviation, that must be focused, because poverty is the source of all evils. So government of Pakistan, as well as the people, private sector, they must check out such strategies that Pakistan becomes a prosperous country. Then what we have challenges for Pakistan. So terrorism, population explosion, that is one of the biggest challenge that we have. Similarly, we have our disputes like Kashmir dispute and other disputes with India. We must have some, I have already delivered a lecture that how we can resolve Kashmir issue by making SAARC very strong. The platform of SAARC, regional cooperation, that is very much important. We must have good relations with all our neighbors, because you can't change your geography. So this is one of the challenge, that we must have excellent relations with, already we have with China, CPEC, and we must diversify our relations. We may not put all our eggs in one basket. If tomorrow something's happened to China, so we will be lost. We must have good relations with Europe, United States, Central Asian republics, East Asia. All these countries we must have good relations. Iran must be our priority, because with Iran we share our culture, we share our geography, and we can import and export to Iran quite easily as compared to other countries. Afghanistan, we must have a pragmatic approach of non-interference with in their internal affairs, and whatever role we can play, so we must play. We must tell the world that the way to Afghanistan passes through Pakistan, so they cannot ignore Pakistan, but our role must be productive and constructive, so Afghans, they also start believing in us. And with India, we must continue dialogue. We must continue foreign secretary levels and foreign minister levels dialogue and negotiations. We may not compromise on our national interest and our stability and security. That is of paramount importance. But at the same time, we must have our excellent relations with all our neighbors. Then we must extend our relations to China, and we already have good relations with China, but we should go beyond China. We have to explore new markets for us in the whole world, and we should make Pakistan a brand, the food of Pakistan, the culture of Pakistan, soft power. Pakistan is middle power. We are a nuclear state, but our soft image, that is one of the biggest issue and challenge, that the people consider Pakistan to be a safe place, a place full of tourism opportunities. They must come, they must explore our mountains and our deserts and our four seasons and our hospitality, our food. So this is the, we must chalk out some strategies, like for example, Basant. It can be such a huge attraction, tourist attraction from the whole world, but we people cannot control, the civic sense in our people, that the people cannot have kind of control on their emotions. So we have to ban such festivals like Basant. It must be promoted. This is the soft image of Pakistan. Then the people will see that Pakistan is a country full of jubilation, full of mirth and merriment, happiness. The people, they are leading a peaceful, happy life. So they will come, they will talk to us, and they will bring a lot of foreign exchange. So that is some of the suggestions for improving the soft image of Pakistan. So we discussed the historic development, constitutional development. We have the challenges to Pakistan, socio-economic problems. So we must have a complete grasp to present Pakistan in a way that it is a viable state in the world. Pakistan must play its role in the Committee of Nations. We must have good relations with everybody, with all. We will never compromise on our sovereignty. Our foreign policy is that friendship with all and enmity with none. We are here to make friends, not to create enemies. Whatever we have in past, but our future, that must be prosperous, that must be brilliant, and then we can be a proud nation in the Committee of Nations in the whole world. Diplomacy that we have in United Nations, European Union and ASEAN, we must play our role, our great role, so that Pakistan becomes, a vibrant state in bilateral diplomacy. Bilateral is between two countries, and multilateral is when you are active on international forum and you are presenting Pakistan to the world as a viable nation state. So these are some of the ideas that I wanted to discuss with you, especially for those people who will present Pakistan in examination hall to be a progressive, prosperous, democratic, modern state to the world and to the examiner, so that they are sure that once you have some authority and some power, so you will be a great advocate of Pakistan.